Hello, I'm Rabbi Lisa Goldstein. I'm the former executive director of the Institute for Jewish Spirituality and of Hillel of San Diego, and I currently teach and coach online. And I'm really happy to be here today to share with you one of my favorite blessings from the morning blessings, which I use often when I just am feeling overwhelmed by the world, overwhelmed by the pandemic, overwhelmed by some of the social instability that seems like it's all around us, overwhelmed by the fragility of our amazing planet, which just feels like it's like sitting at the crossroads in very frightening ways. So it's very easy to feel overwhelmed these days. And when I do, one of the things that I do to help is to turn to the morning blessings, and particularly to the blessing that praises God, Harokah haaretz al hamayim, who spreads out the earth over the water. This is really just one of my very favorite blessings because there's so much there. So I want to start with the word rokah, which means to spread out. So imagine as if the earth was a pie crust that was being rolled out and stretched out to cover the water beneath, to create a really the possibility of stability beneath our feet. But the word rokah is also connected to rakia. So the rakia is the firmament that was created on the second day, according to Genesis. And on the second day, God created this firmament, a dome. So imagine that there's the earth, and we just said that the earth is spread out over the water. And then there's a dome that was formed over the earth to hold up the upper waters. So the rakia keeps the upper waters at bay, and the land keeps the lower waters at bay. So that in this moment, right here in between where we live our lives, that we have a little space. We have some spaciousness in which we can really be okay. So that's what we're going for. But how do we actually find it? And our tradition says, well, it's a blessing. What we can do is turn to the source of that ability to feel okay in this moment, to feel stable and to feel spacious. And the source of that is God, whom we can bless through the blessing. Now, I know that that's not so easy for many of us, that God brings up all kinds of theological difficulties and disbelief and closed hearts and all kinds of things. So what I would like to do is to offer you an interesting way of thinking about what that means to connect that to God from the writings of Eti Hillesum, Aleha Shalom of blessed memory, who was a young student living in Amsterdam and who had an extraordinary spiritual awakening that she recorded in her diaries between the years 1941 and 1943. And to the world's great sorrow, she did not survive the war. But in June of 1941, she wrote that what she was trying to do in her spiritual practice was to turn her innermost being into a vast, empty plain, with none of that treacherous undergrowth to impede the view, so that something of God can enter you, and something of love, too. Not the kind of love deluxe that you can revel in deliciously for half an hour, taking pride in how sublime you feel, but the love that you can apply to small, everyday things. So I think what Eti offers us is so helpful, that God can be that internal experience of spaciousness and of love that we can then bring out into our lives. So how do we do that? Well, that brings us back to the blessing itself, because the blessing is something that we can embody. We can feel it in our bodies. And rokah, the final meaning of rokah, means actually to stamp with your foot. So I want to invite you to really bring your attention to your feet on the ground. Like, feel the firmness, the stability of the earth beneath your feet. If you want, you can even stamp. And then we can say the blessing. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, roka haaretz al hamayim. Blessed are you, God, creator of this world, who spreads out firm ground over the water beneath my feet. And as I feel down into the earth, I can feel that right now there is stability. There is something firm. I have space inside, in my body, and for that, I am grateful.